Greetings. Sudbury, Ontario is one of the cities that qualifies under the new rural and northern immigration pilot. So there have been a lot of people interested in immigrating to the city since it's the largest city in northern Ontario. This is an overview of the city. Sudbury is located about 400 kilometers north of Toronto. If you get past Barrie, the area is mostly rocks and trees and lakes. So the city itself is surrounded by forest. There's about 310 lakes within the city limits, and it has a population of around 164,000. To get to Sudbury, there is an airport, but the price of a ticket between Toronto and Sudbury or Sudbury and other cities is quite expensive at times. There's also a regular bus service between Sudbury and Toronto. It costs between $60 and $100 for a one-way ticket. Most people go by car. The road between Toronto and Sudbury is mostly four-lane highway, so it will take about 4 hours traveling at 100 kilometers an hour or more if the traveling is good. Sudbury has a bus transit system. The fee for one ride is $3.50. You can get a day pass for $10, and there's other passes priced depending on whether you're a student or adult or senior. There are taxis in Sudbury, but they're relatively expensive. The Sudbury does not have an Uber, but there's another rideshare called U-Ride. Most people in the city own a car. The bus routes within the city itself are fairly good, but if you're traveling by bus to one of the towns just outside the city, the buses are far fewer. There's one major hospital in the city. There are a lot of walk-in clinics where you can see a doctor if you're not on a doctor's list, if you don't have your own doctor. But there are many family doctors and many labs for tests. The hospital has an emergency room where you can go if there's a health emergency, but there are often long waits if you are not in critical condition. If you are not in the hospital, then drugs and dental work are not covered by the provincial health care. Almost everything else is. The winter weather makes it really hard on the roads. So there is a lot of potholes in the roads, particularly in winter. The city has a really good snow clearing system. So roads are drivable all winter long, although sometimes it takes a while to get all of the roads cleared after a snowstorm. And during the summer, there's often road construction, which results in driving delays. There are a few streets with bike lanes, although there's no citywide bike lane system. Most streets have sidewalks for safe walking. There are many elementary schools and high schools in the city. These are free to residents. There are two colleges. One of them is French and one of them is English. And there is one university. The university has classes in both English and French. The tuition for a full-time international student at the university is about $27,000 a year. And for the colleges, it's about $16,000 per year. There are some scholarships available for each. There are quite a few different ethnic groups in Sudbury. Most of the people in Sudbury have either English or French origins. This survey is from 2011, so the population of 158,000 at that time, there were about 10,000 who were Métis, And you can see that in the other groups, most of them are from in Europe, from British origin and from French origin. There are probably about only 10% to 20% of the population that speaks French as a first language. There are many other European countries that are represented. From Caribbean, there is only a few, most from Jamaica. From Latin America, there are not that many, and they are mostly from Mexico. There are a little few more from Africa. And also quite a number from Asia. The area is quite welcoming to new populations. The city has a website where you can find newcomer information. There's also information about social services and government services and mental health, older person services. So that's it for now. I hope this has been helpful. Goodbye for now.